My name is June Fortin, and I was born in 1929 in Granville, New York, and I am 92 years old. I met Grandpa, Nancy and me, two of us, were going out. We were in high school. We were going to the movies, and we went and got the bus, and we were on the bus going down, and on the way to, into the Hartford, into the city. We lived on the outskirts. And the boys, 3 boys got on, and there were no seats left. So they, of course, stood in the aisle. And then, of course, we were talking, Nancy and me, not paying any attention. And, of course, they would all of a sudden started to make remarks into what we were talking about.
Of course.
And they were standing right in the aisle. And then all of a sudden it got right into Hartford, into the city, and we got off at the stop where we all got off, and then we went up to the street and then turned down a side street because we were going to a movie. And I can't remember what they said, something about us going, we were talking of looking. And I said something about, was my slip showing? And they said, no, your stocking seams are okay. Or maybe it was the other way around. But anyway, they were following us. And then we said about the movies. They figured we were going to the movies. And the boys all said, well, now I don't know, because there was 2 right in a row. And so they said, well, I want to go to this one. And the other one said, well, I want to go to the other one, figuring no matter which way, they were going to make it okay. So, and they thought, that was my slip showing or something anyway. And so we went into the movies, and they trailed us in the movies. And then we went upstairs to sit in the balcony where they always sat, the young people. And so they followed us in, and we got in a row, and then they sat a couple of, like 1 row ahead of us so they could turn around and talk to us. And so by the time we got through with the movie, they were being quite friendly. And then they got out of the movie, and then they followed us back to the bus, got on the bus, went past their stop to see where we were going. And by that time, they were joining in quite a conversation with us. And they followed us. When we got off at the end of the line, they got off at the end of the line and followed us to where we lived. They were following us, and then they started talking about when, how about maybe a date or something, I don't know, And so I said, well, I can't go out with anybody unless you meet my parents first. So Joseph said, okay, and then he went by the name of Roger, not Joseph. But his name was Joseph Fortin. So he came up, called me, and came up the next weekend on a Saturday, because he had asked me to go out to the movies, and met Goggy and Pay, and that's how we met. He was about the same as me, so he must have been about 17, because later he quit school. He had 1 more year to go, and he quit and joined the Marines. And then he used to write to me. And when he'd come home, we'd go out. But in the meantime, I liked Leo Boucher.
Who was he?
My girlfriend Teresa's family, and they lived right just a few streets away. And we used to go horseback riding. And I said, I'd love to go horseback riding, but I need someone to teach me. So Leo volunteered. And he'd take me out, and we did English riding. You did that. You stood up and down in the stirrups. Anyway, I didn't like that really, so then I wound up just doing it. But I was friendly with Teresa, and Teresa and I became very good friends. and I used to be over their house all the time. Mr. and Mrs. Boucher, they were very nice. And Leo also wrote a letter. He joined the Navy, and he wrote me a letter about a week or two before the wedding, and I had my gown and everything, and wanted me to marry him. Because I liked Leo, until your father came along. And, oh yes, your father, talk about class. Oh brother. He came in, and Pay was there sitting in the chair in the living room, and Gagi was in the kitchen. I was doing something in the living room. And he throws the thing at me. It's an envelope, and it had a diamond in it. And that was my...
Your engagement?
I should have known. Anyway, the week before the wedding, I got a letter from Leo saying he wished I would marry him. I had the wedding gown a week before the wedding. It's a heck of a time to ask me to marry him. I would have loved him to ask me before I met your father. So that was that. One day after school, because Mime and Pepe both worked, and I was trying to find the number of the house, and I shows how nervous I was. I was looking on one side, and I never thought to look, the numbers went back, and I never thought. And then I asked the lady, could you tell me, in her house, I knocked on the door on the right side, and they were on the left. And I asked her, could you tell me where blah, blah, the number was?
Yeah.
And so I go upstairs on the 3rd floor, and Mime was there, and she gave me Daddy's picture, and I wanted to get out before Pepe came, because I knew Pepe, So anyway, I was just about to go out the door, and Pepe came in. And then when Daddy asked him, when he came home, he said, well, what did you think of her, or something, I guess. And Pepe said, she's awful little, isn't she? So that was that.
Uh-huh.
Debbie was 2.5 or 3, because because we went to LA, and I'd take the bus to go to my doctor for the one that delivered Denise.
Yeah.
And in LA, I knew how to do it. So I was on the bus with Debbie, and she was turned around, and the people always, she was cute, little, with the black bangs and everything. And so they said something to her, and she said, yes, my mommy's going to get me a baby. Well, of course, it was obvious, and that was Denise. So anyway, and she was a brand new baby when we were traveling. And then this one wasn't that big. But one day what I started to say is, after Meme died and everything, we stayed on. And then Daddy started looking for a job closer where we could all be together. And she disappeared on me. And I thought, oh my God, did she get out in the backyard? Because there was no gate. No gate there, fence or anything. But it was a nice big backyard.
Yeah.
And there was a main road outside of the house. And I thought, oh God, So Donna was in the crib. I started to go upstairs to ask Pepe if, I can't find Denise. She's out on the swing, out on the front porch, just a little porch, and just enough for a swing, eating cheese and tomatoes with Pepe. I was having a heart attack when she was. And how you went upstairs all by yourself and decided you'd go see Pepe. We've had quite a life. And then Pepe and Daddy went to New Hampshire because Daddy had a job in New Hampshire and found a house, a brand new house. And then Daddy bought it. And then all moved from Hartford, and Mema and Pepe stayed, of course, in Hartford. And we had a nice house there, though. And he found a job. He went and was interviewed. That's when he went to Florida to see about a job, and there was one in California. And he said he went to Florida, and he said so many bugs and things. He knew I wouldn't like it, and which is I'm sure from what I've heard. Anyway, we went back to California, and so we packed up and drove back to California. Shipped our furniture back. Talk about gypsies, you know. Yeah, we had bought the house and we were getting ready to move in.
Yes.
And Debbie's boyfriend, Ernie,
Yep.
thank God he was there to drive us to the hospital.
Right.
Nobody else, I couldn't drive because Irene used to take me days when you kids were in school. She would take me up to see Daddy at the hospital.
Oh.
And he got, so I had a pair of black leather with a little strap and closed shoe. And he could tell, he said, he could tell the here in the foot, the beat of my foot, you know, my feet coming down the hall. And he got so he could tell I was coming.
And tell what else about those shoes. Those shoes, this whole thing was very upsetting. You know, him being in the hospital and all that.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Insurance companies don't do that now.
Yeah.
She lost so much weight from the stress of it all. She had to put her shoes, rubber bands around her feet and her shoes to keep her shoes on.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, the little strap wouldn't go any tighter.
Yeah.
And my feet.
Yeah.
And he said he could hear me coming down. You see, he knew it was me coming down the hall. We lived with them for quite a while, and they had in the living room. They had. Have you ever heard of the big potbelly stoves that they put wood in? We had that in the winter, and Ma'd make ice cream, and we'd eat the ice cream and sit around the stove, and the front would be warm for the stove, and the back of us, you know, because they were old houses. In the summer they were nice, but not in the winter. Pay got into the working at the foundry right across the street, because Pa did.
Oh.
And then though, we moved to New Hampshire for a while. And we lived in Claremont, New Hampshire. But that was just a short time. And then Ma and Pa, in the meantime, had moved to Hartford. So then, and he was working at the foundry there. And so then that's how Pay got into working at the foundry. And luckily, during the war, he was married, but he was only 30, but he was married with one kid. Plus, he made something at the foundry that they needed for the planes. Some part that they had to, and so they wouldn't take him. Because he was 30, or he'd have been with only one kid, married, but with one kid, he'd have been in the war.
Wow.
Because his number came up, but they wouldn't take him because he was...
And the foundry, they melted metal.
Oh, yeah. All kinds of metal and heavy. Well, they worked on parts. Pay worked on a part that was for a plane that they were using. So that's why they wouldn't take him. And like I said, being married, that didn't count. But he was 30, plus he had one kid, and I saved it. I never thought of it that way. But yeah. And that really was a nice house.
That was lovely in its time.
Very nice. But the funny part of it was, we were going to buy the model I liked was, you know, the one right directly in back. And there were some girls that lived there in Fountain Valley.
Oh, the one behind us?
The one right in back,
Uh-huh.
that was a model.
Oh,
And I liked that one.
I'm not sure I remember that.
And that was the one I wanted, and we were going to buy it, and then the people had already bought that one.
Oh.
So then the other one that we bought, that was still empty. I don't know if there were others, but that one we zeroed in on anyway,
Mhm.
and we bought that one,
Mhm.
and we really liked that one. That was nice. Although we had it fixed a little with grass and everything and plants.
Well, Daddy put a patio in too. He would
Yeah,
do his
he
own
put a patio
He did
in.
his own.
He did
concrete.
most houses
Yeah,
that we
he did.
had. He put a patio in. The first time I experienced an earthquake,
Oh, yes.
Daddy was at work, which was towards LA, which was a little ways away.
That was a good hour away.
Yeah. And here I had gone down to the front of the house, the end where the sidewalk was, and then the driveway went like that, and the garage was like here, like an upside down L,
Mhm.
and then the house
Yep,
was like there.
exactly.
And all of a sudden I looked up, the kids were in school,
Mhm.
I looked up, and the roof was going like that.
Ooh.
And I'd never been in an earthquake before.
Yeah. No.
Wow,
Yeah.
that scared the bejeebers out of me.
You would imagine.
Ooh. That's the house too that I'd stand on the dining room table, and the chandelier with it was on in there when we moved in.
Yeah.
If they put it in the new house, but it had all like diamonds. I used to say, I'm cleaning my diamonds. I'd be up there and I'd be washing every so often. You know, they'd get dirty or dusty, and I couldn't reach it, and you couldn't you'd have to move the table
Yeah.
to put a ladder.
Yeah.
So I'd put a towel down,
Yeah.
I'd take my shoes off,
Yeah.
and I'd be up there washing all the diamonds, all my diamonds. That was a very nice house.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Crazy.
but we had quite a colorful life.
That's true.
Some of the things.